Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something real quick. In this life, people gonna come for you. Oh yeah, they gonna lie on you. They gonna talk about you. They gonna poke, push, and prod at you, all just to get a reaction. But I'm here to tell you, don't fight back. Fool them. Now let me explain something to you. A lot of folks walk around out here got this idea that if somebody hits you with words, you got to hit back harder. They think every time somebody disrespects you, you're supposed to put on a show. Jump up, clap back, let everybody know I ain't the one. But listen to me, when you react like that, when you jump out of character just because somebody pushed your buttons, you done handed them all your power. That's right, you passed it right over like a gift bag. Here you go, here's my peace, here's my energy, here's my dignity. You can have all that because I just had to let you know how I feel. Now, baby, that's not how a boss moves. See, here's the real game. The one who can sit still in the middle of chaos, that's the one who's got the real control. Anybody can cuss, anybody can shout, anybody can slam a door and throw a tantrum. That ain't strength. That's emotion with no direction. But when you learn to sit still, keep calm, and not say a word, whew, that's powerful. That's dangerous. That's what throws them off. Because people don't know how to deal with silence. They know how to argue. They know how to gossip. But when you don't respond, when you just smile and keep moving like their words never even landed, you make them question everything. Y'all got to understand, some folks ain't coming for your truth. They coming for your peace. And the way they steal it is by getting you to react. It's a trap. You mad, they satisfied. You yelling, they winning. You crying, they celebrating. So when you stay silent, when you don't feed the drama, you starving the enemy. And baby, ain't nothing colder than starving somebody who came looking for a feast. I remember one time I was on a show and a dude said something slick on camera, live TV, trying to bait me. Now, the old me, man, I would have lit him up. But I've learned that the audience ain't just watching for the truth. They watching to see if you gonna lose it. And in that moment, I just smiled, looked that man dead in his face and smiled. Because I realized he was, and if I performed back, then it just becomes a circus. And I ain't no clown. See, silence ain't weakness, silence is chess. When you quiet, you ain't forfeiting the game, you just letting them make their move while you playing 10 steps ahead. Silence don't mean you scared, it means you secure. It means you know who you are. And you don't need to prove it in a back and forth with somebody who probably ain't even on your level. And you got to be real honest with yourself, ask, why am I giving this person this much power? Why are you letting somebody who don't pay your bills, who don't know your story, who don't even matter in the big picture, take you out of your peace? You got to know when to speak and when to be still. And more often than not, your stillness says more than your words ever could. Because a person who can stay composed while being provoked, that person got discipline. That person got character. That person got control over their own emotions. And trust me, that's rare. That's valuable. That's king and queen behavior. So the next time somebody come at you, trying to pull you into an argument, trying to get a rise out of you, just pause, just breathe, and remember, they feeding off your reaction. You control the story by controlling your energy. Keep your head up, your mouth shut, and your focus sharp. Let them wonder what you thinking. Let them guess what you gonna do next. That mystery, that silence, that's the real power. Reaction gives them control, but silence, silence lets me run the whole show. Let me break something down for y'all that took me years of living, losing, learning, and leveling up to understand. Emotion is expensive. Yeah, I said it. It costs. Cost you time, cost you peace, cost you energy, sometimes even cost you your destiny if you don't know how to spend it. See, most people out here living like emotion is free, like they can just throw it around any kind of way. They mad at breakfast, hurt by lunch, and offended before dinner, and then they wonder why they tired all the time. They wonder why their joy got holes in it, why they never seem to have anything left for themselves. Baby, it's cause you done spent your whole emotional wallet on stuff that don't pay you back. Now look, I ain't saying don't feel nothing. We human. We gonna feel stuff. You gonna get angry, disappointed, frustrated. That's part of the journey. But what I am saying is you better learn how to manage them emotions like they cost real money. Like you swiping a card every time you get mad. Like you writing a check every time you blow up. Because you are. You giving out pieces of your peace. That's luxury now. You got to protect it like it's gold. You know how many people out here can't sleep at night because they gave too much of their energy to the wrong conversation? You know how many folks walking around bitter, not because of what happened, but because they relived what happened so many times in their head that it wore them down? They overdrafted on emotion. They got into emotional debt with folks who don't even deserve a hello, let alone a reaction. I had to learn not everything needs a response. Not every offense needs to be addressed. Some stuff you just got to let bounce off your spirit like a bad check. You ever notice how rich folks don't argue over small bills? That's because they understand value. So why are you out here giving $1 million reactions to 10-cent people? Come on now. You got to know your worth. Your emotions are part of your wealth, and you can't keep bankrupting yourself trying to prove points that don't even move you forward. And let me tell you something about how the enemy works too. The enemy ain't always loud. Sometimes the enemy shows up as somebody close, somebody sweet, somebody that know exactly what buttons to press. And the trick is, once they press it and you explode, they walk away cool while you sitting in the wreckage of your own reaction. But when you learn to say, you know what? That don't deserve my peace today. Whoo! That's when you win. That's when you start building emotional credit. That's when you start saving your joy for what really matters. When you learn to spend your emotions wisely, you show people how to treat you. See, people will only pull from what you give. If you always ready to go off, they're going to keep poking just to get a show. But if you steady, if you calm, if you walk away without saying a word, you shift the whole power dynamic. You show them you ain't some emotional vending machine they can press and expect drama to drop. And sometimes you got to check yourself too, because some of us ain't reacting to them. We reacting to unhealed stuff in us. Somebody say something small and it triggers a whole storm from 5 years ago. That's why you got to pause and ask yourself, is this about now or is this about then? Because if you spending today's peace on yesterday's pain, you're going to stay broke. And I don't know about you, but I can't afford that no more. So every day you got to wake up and ask yourself, what's worth my energy today? Some folks ain't worth a sigh. Some situations don't even deserve a frown. Hold your joy close. Guard your energy like it's sacred, because it is. You don't owe anybody your explosion. Sometimes the richest thing you can do is stay calm, stay grounded, and keep your emotional pockets full. Let me tell y'all something right here. Fools love noise. That's their playground. Drama, yelling, back and forth, chaos. That's where they shine. That's where they thrive. You ever notice how a fool will keep poking at you, keep throwing jabs, keep running that mouth until you finally blow up? That's the goal. See, they don't want the truth. They don't want resolution. What they want is your peace. What they want is your dignity served up hot and loud right in front of everybody. Because if they can get you loud, they got you where they want you. And you better believe the moment you go off, they're going to turn around and say, see, I told you they crazy. Look how emotional they are. Look how unprofessional. That's the setup. But wisdom don't play in that arena. Wisdom don't need to raise its voice to be heard. Wisdom just sits back, observes, calculates, and chooses silence over spectacle. Now, don't get it twisted. Being quiet ain't weak. Being quiet don't mean you scared. Sometimes being quiet means you know who you are so well, you ain't got to explain it to nobody. You don't need to scream your worth. You don't need to prove your point to people who already decided not to understand you. That's wasted breath. I had to learn that the hard way. There was a time in my life where if you came at me wrong, you was going to hear about it loud and clear. You wasn't going to disrespect me and get away with it. I was quick with the comeback, quick with the fire, but you know what I realized? Every time I got loud, I gave the fool what they wanted. I joined their circus. I stepped off my platform just to roll around in the mud with them. And who looked foolish then? Both of us. Now I sit in rooms and I watch people try to bait me. They'll say slick stuff, throw shade sideways, try to get a rise out of me. But I don't move. I don't flinch. I just smile. Because I know silence makes people uncomfortable, especially when they're expecting a show. You want to confuse a fool? Don't react. Don't argue. Just sit still. Let them swing at the air. Let them fight a battle that you already walked away from. Wisdom knows the value of peace, and peace ain't found in noise. Peace lives in self-control. Peace lives in knowing that not everything needs a response. See, some people are loud because they empty. A full soul don't gotta shout. A full mind don't gotta fight. You gotta start asking yourself, what do I gain by clapping back? What does raising my voice solve? If the answer is nothing, and 9 times out of 10 it is, then hush. Protect your energy. Walk away for people will call you soft. They'll say you let them win. But you know what I say? Let them talk. Let them gossip. Let them shout into the wind. Because I promise you, when you operate from wisdom, time gonna reveal everything they tried to hide. You ain't got to expose a fool. Their own mouth gonna do it eventually. Let them dig their own ditch. You just stay planted. It's easy to be loud. Loud is quick. Loud is emotional. But quiet takes strength. Quiet takes discipline. Quiet is a choice you make when you realize your peace costs too much to throw away over nonsense. So the next time a fool steps to you, trying to drag you down into their drama, ask yourself, do I want to be heard or do I want to be wise? Because the wise don't chase noise, they protect their voice. They know silence hits harder than any shout ever could. Let me tell y'all something real clear. Ain't no better way to shut the haters up than with your success. I mean, think about it. People gonna talk. They gonna doubt you. They gonna shade you. And they gonna try to write your story for you. But the best revenge, it ain't in words. It ain't in shouting back or trying to prove them wrong with your mouth. Nah. It's in showing up every day, grinding and building your life so good they can't help but notice your success. That's the ultimate clapback. See, people don't really hate on you because they hate you. They hate because you're doing something they wish they had the courage to do. When you're out here moving forward, stepping into your purpose, making moves and stacking wins, it messes with their heads. They can't stand to see you win because it reminds them of the excuses they are making. It reminds them of the dreams they ain't chasing. So instead of celebrating, they try to tear you down. But you got to flip the script on that. Instead of getting caught up in the noise, use it as fuel. Let every little jab be a spark that lights your fire higher. When they say you can't, you got to show them you can. When they laugh, you got to smile and keep working. When they doubt, you got to double down on your grind. Because there ain't no argument more powerful than your result. When you build a legacy, when you create something so solid, it don't just shut the mouths of critics, it turns them into believers. Think about some of the most successful people you know. They didn't waste time arguing with every naysayer. They didn't get in the mud trying to prove every little thing. What they did was keep their eyes on the prize, put their heads down, and work. They let their success do the talking. And over time, people had no choice but to respect what they saw. Success doesn't just speak, it roars. And here's the thing, success is personal. It ain't about being flashy or loud. It ain't about bragging or showing off. Real success is quiet confidence. It's waking up every day knowing you're moving closer to your dreams. It's feeling proud when you look in the mirror because you see progress. It's the peace that comes from knowing you handled your business even when nobody was watching. When you live like that, the haters ain't got nothing on you. You're too busy living your best life to entertain their noise. Another thing about success as a clapback, it never runs out. You can keep winning, keep growing, and keep showing up better than before. The louder the critics get, the harder you work. The more they doubt, the stronger you become. It's like a cycle that only feeds your greatness. Instead of draining you, their negativity becomes the wind at your back, pushing you forward. And let me be real with you. Sometimes success takes time. It ain't always overnight. But every step you take, every little win, every lesson learned adds up. That slow, steady progress, that's the stuff that breaks down walls. That's the stuff that leaves the loud talker speechless. So don't get discouraged if people don't see it right away. Don't rush the process. Keep doing your thing. The bigger your vision, the longer the wait sometimes. But trust me, when success comes knocking, it don't just whisper, it shouts. You ever notice how people who constantly argue or fight back with words tend to stay stuck? They stuck in the cycle of drama, always trying to explain themselves, always reacting. But those who focus on their success, they break free from that cycle. They rise above. They move on to better things. And that's the difference. Success liberates you from the petty battles. It lifts you above the noise. It gives you something real and undeniable. So when folks try to bring you down, remember, your success is your microphone. Your success is your megaphone. And every win you stack, that's a clapback they can't come back from. Don't waste time trying to argue with fools or prove yourself with words. Build your empire, grow your dreams. Let your success speak louder than anything anybody ever said about you. Because at the end of the day, nothing shuts him up like the sound of you winning. Now listen up, because this one right here is real important. Too many people out here thinking that when somebody disrespects them or when life throws some shade, the best way to respond is by opening their mouth and talking loud, fast, and messy. But I'm here to tell you that ain't the way to handle business. If you really want to show somebody who you are and what you're about, let your moves do the talk. Let your actions be the answer to every disrespect, every doubt, every insult. See, words are cheap. Everybody got an opinion, everybody got a mouth, but not everybody got the hustle to back it up. Anybody can shout, anybody can talk slick, but can you walk it out? Can you show up? Can you keep grinding when nobody's watching? That's the real test. When you start letting your moves speak louder than your mouth, that's when people start respecting. That's when your haters start quieting down because they see you building, growing, winning, and they realize all that talk they've been throwing your way ain't doing a thing to stop you. Now, don't get me wrong. I ain't saying you should never speak up. Sometimes you got to stand up for yourself. But here's the difference. Talking all the time is like shouting in the wind. It don't change nothing. But moving forward, even when it's hard, even when the world is against you, that's the kind of power that's undeniable. It's the kind of power that doesn't need a spotlight because the results shine bright enough. Think about it like this. You ever see somebody who talks a big game but never does anything? They loud, they flashy, they always got something to say, but when it comes to getting stuff done, they nowhere to be found. And then you see somebody else, quiet, focused, steady. They don't say much, but when they show up, they change the game. People notice that. People respect that because it's easy to talk. It takes character to show up. Let me give you a little story. When I was coming up, I had folks doubting me left and right. People talking about me behind my back, telling me I wouldn't make it, that I wasn't enough. And I could have spent all my time arguing, all my time trying to convince them otherwise. But instead, I chose to work. I chose to build. I chose to get better every day. And over time, my moves started speaking so loud, nobody had to say a word. The work showed the proof. The success told the story. And that was way more powerful than any argument I could have had. Another thing about letting your moves be the response, it keeps you above the drama. When you don't get pulled into every argument or fight, you protect your peace, you protect your energy, and that's key because once you get caught up in trying to prove yourself with words, you start losing focus on what really matters. Your growth, your dreams, your future. Don't get distracted by people trying to start a mess. Instead, stay focused on building something so strong, nobody can touch it. And here's the secret most people don't understand. Actions inspire more than words ever will. When you let your success and your growth show up in big ways, you inspire other people. You become proof that things can change, that dreams can be real, that pain don't have to be permanent. Your moves become a message to the world, louder and clearer than any speech ever could be. So the next time somebody tries to disrespect you or tries to put you down, don't waste your breath. Don't give them a show. Instead, get to work. Focus on your goals. Let your hustle be the response. Let your progress be the reply. And when you start moving like that, something beautiful happens. The noise fades away, the fake friends disappear, and the real ones show up to celebrate your journey. Remember, it ain't about how loud you talk. It's about how strong you move. Words can be forgotten, but moves are remembered. So keep moving, keep building, and let your life be the loudest statement you ever made. Now listen, This right here is one of the most powerful lessons you can learn in life. Mastering the art of strategic silence. I know it sounds strange at first. We live in a world where everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants to shout their truth from the rooftops. But sometimes the smartest move you can make is to hold your tongue and keep your mouth shut. That silence, that ain't empty. It's filled with power, with control, with wisdom that most people never tap into. Strategic silence means you know when to speak up and when to hold back. It means you understand that not every battle is worth fighting and not every opinion needs your input. Sometimes saying nothing says more than 1,000 words ever could. When you master this art, you stop feeding the fire. You stop giving your energy to things that don't deserve it. You keep your peace intact and you keep your dignity untouchable. Think about it. How many times have you seen somebody lose a good thing because they talked too much at the wrong moment? Maybe they revealed too much. Maybe they got caught up in emotions. Maybe they spoke before thinking. It happens all the time. People who can't control their words end up causing damage that no apology can fix. But when you learn to pause, to breathe, to measure your words, man, that's the game changer. That's the move that separates winners from losers. Strategic silence also means you're in control of the narrative. When you rush to respond, when you react immediately, you lose control. You give other people the power to shape the story. But when you hold back, when you wait and watch, you keep the upper hand. You can assess the situation, understand the bigger picture, and choose the perfect moment to speak or decide not to speak at all. That's power, baby. Power that fools don't understand because they always want to be loud and reckless. I want you to realize this. Silence is not submission. It's not weakness. It's strength wrapped in patience. It's confidence without the need to prove yourself. When you stay silent, you're saying, I'm too secure in who I am to get dragged down by nonsense. You're showing the world that you don't have to stoop to their level to win. You don't have to fight every fight. Sometimes the best victory is walking away with your head held high and your peace untouched. Let me tell you a secret. People get uncomfortable with silence, especially people trying to provoke you. They want to hear you argue, see you lose your cool, get emotional, because that means they got under your skin. But when you don't give them that satisfaction, when you just stand still, quiet, unbothered, that silence messes with their head. It makes them second guess themselves. It makes them wonder if maybe they picked the wrong fight. You've taken their power away just by not giving them the reaction they wanted. Mastering strategic silence also gives you space to think clearly. When you stop and don't react right away, you give yourself time to understand what's really going on. Sometimes what looks like a battle ain't worth your time. Sometimes what feels like an insult ain't really about you. Sometimes the real problem is coming from somewhere else entirely. Silence helps you see through the noise. It helps you stay focused on what really matters: your goals, your peace, your life. And here's the beauty. Strategic silence is a skill that grows stronger with practice. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. The more you control your tongue, the more control you have over your life. You start to notice how much drama you can avoid just by staying quiet. You start to see how many problems solve themselves when you don't jump in. You start to understand that sometimes the loudest voice in a room ain't the smartest. It's the one who's saying the least. So if you want to be truly powerful, if you want to be someone people respect and don't dare to mess with, learn this art of strategic silence. Keep your cards close to your chest. Hold your peace like a treasure And remember, sometimes the best way to fight back is not to fight at all. It's to stay quiet, stay focused, and let your life do all the talking for you.